Hello everyone, Sunset2, welcome to another mod overview, this time on Vending Machine. The mod simply adds in a single block, the Vending Machine, which allows you to, obviously, access trades and then get certain things from it. Otherwise, there is obviously a lot of config options as well, in certain bits and pieces you can see there. We're covering the 1.16.1 version, which still seems to keep certain aspects of the 1.15 and just obviously ports it forward, so we can still see what it can do. So this is pretty much what it looks like, and there is no crafting recipe at all. There is just the vending machine itself, and then from there you've got obviously a bunch of trades like so. So this is, I assume, just certain things it picks from, and there's that. And then pretty much the rest of the mod, you'll be just, if you weren't using it, say, as a player, and you were wanting to configure things, you would use the config to obviously change certain aspects, such as if it restocks itself, similar to obviously villagers certainly restocking things over time. You've got it so that there is a use of fixed items, so I'm assuming it sticks to these, or maybe, yeah, because it wouldn't have anything to do with, like, the hoe, for example, having durability or something. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to stay consistent, maybe with, like, every vending machine, possibly, when you place a new one down. Nope, okay, so different trades here, because obviously that's set to false. So it's going to use different items every time, not the same ones, unless you want that to be the case. You've got fixed items, which will be certain things like air, for example. I'm assuming this is just a default thing, but if you wanted to change it out, you could. But obviously air would be just certain empty slots or something, or just to put a sort of block there that's not really displaying much. You've got include mods option, so if you want to include certain modded things, it can be presented in here, I assume, compared to this just pulling anything, I guess. Unless there is more detail down here, of course, that we can check. You've got exclude mods, so any mods that you want as a blacklist compared to a whitelist, for example. You've got exclude items, which allows you to pretty much exclude specific things that can be obviously presented in the vending machine. So you can't sell a vending machine inside a vending machine, you can't sell certain things that are obviously not supposed to be accessible. It doesn't say that you can't have bedrock, at least by default here, so that's something. But you can't have a nether star or a beacon or everything else sold if you were just going off the default here. You could add whatever you wanted pretty much in this list. You've got the include groups, so I'm assuming this is creative tabs, yep. So if we were actually in creative, you would obviously have it where it would pull things from specific tabs or consider things for this compared to just whatever else option-wise there is, I guess. You've got exclude groups, which is exclamation mark versus star. I'm assuming this means sort of like a nothing, or it's waiting for bits and pieces, or it's just sort of anything. So it's not like anything particularly listed here as a creative tab group that it can't pull from. So it's not, say, going to restrict transportation, but it will allow everything else. It's just it'll allow everything else, I guess. Or it probably won't even pull from creative tabs, I assume. This is what that's for, compared to that, where it's just like, yeah, sure, include anything, it's fine. Because I'm pretty sure that's the difference between the star and the exclamation, but it's just only my own guessing there. You've got item rarity can change, such as pretty much, I assume, things that can appear in the vending machine, not so much like currency or certain things like that. You've got rarity data though that you can change, such as common items that I assume can be traded, for example. You've got emeralds, 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 and emeralds for the rare or epic or otherwise tiered items. Yeah, this is why I'm thinking it's mostly the currency, is because if you had it determined to something else, where it's like you have emeralds as the currency for the common, you have maybe a nether star as the uncommon, you have like some other tougher modded thing or otherwise, or unless you just went with something like coal, iron, gold, and emerald or something for the tiers going down here, and coal being common because it's most accessible, epic being emerald because it's a lot more difficult to get. or a nether star or something. And you've got the costs of each of these as well, which are pretty much their defaults from 1 to 16, 32, and 64. So that'll be the cost of what many of these things are. And obviously alongside the groups, I assume you could work out certain tiers maybe. Otherwise, there is the uses as well, for I assume the amount of times obviously it presents it in the actual vending machine. So say for example the double-bladed axe, you would have it where that rarely appears, but you'll see a lot more of like glass or signs or coal or something type of trades in here, or smooth sandstone for example, rather than say this, which is more of a rare trade to appear in a vending machine. So yeah, otherwise, at least with by the default, you can just break in place and it'll just have a bunch of stuff. Yeah, in terms of say breaking these if you've got to use it in survival, even though it's more so intended for creative use, unless you used something to add a recipe for it. We'll just see what we can do if you wanted to move it elsewhere and see if it even has any possibility of being broken. So nope, not there. I guess this is probably just going to break in general for all of these, but either way. Yep, and yep. So there's no actual way to pick it up either. I'll actually try with like a silk touch pick, which is obviously pointless since we know we can't break it, but you never know with some stuff when it can be applied. And I don't have an anvil there, I do not. So we're going to just do this and this. Still can't, no. So it's obviously still creative intended, but you never know. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.